G'day and welcome to this week's edition of the Advocate Footy Wrap. We're back here in the building, mate.
Yeah, mate. We tried to film out on location at West Park, but the inclement weather and the wind don't reckon the viewers would have been able to hear us if we were to film it down there. So we've had to retreat indoors.
Pretty typical of West Park, though, isn't it? I couldn't imagine what the boys who are going to run out this week for the Coastal Derby are going to be freezing their bums off.
I reckon you're right, mate, and a bit of a gale blowing towards the city end as well, so whoever wins the toss, I guess, has a bit of advantage there, so yeah. We'll see how that goes.
We'll move straight on to the NTFL. I guess the finals appear to be done and dusted now. I guess East Devonport were never going to make it, and Smithton losing to Penguin last week has basically sewn up the top four. Yeah,
it looks to be all pretty much in place now, Jordan, and I think that, as I wrote the other day, I think Latrobe have probably taken that mantle as the second team, even though it might sound funny because they are third and they are behind Ulverston, but the way they played, you think that they're sort of now in second spot in some ways. So you think, obviously Wynyard at the top, Ulverston probably still finished second, Latrobe, and then Penguin, who, as you said, got the job done against Smithton. So I think that's pretty much all done and dusted. But this week's games, just to start with, obviously Eastern Penguin playing at Girdleston Park, so you'd expect that to only go one way.
Yeah, looking at the games this week, they all appear to be a good week easy week for the tipsters. So yeah, Penguin East are getting better or attempting to get better every week, and the young kids are having a crack. But no, the Two Blues will notch up another win there and consolidate their position in fourth.
Yeah, and Smithton and Latrobe as well. That's possibly one of the closest games of the round. Smithton are tougher down there, but you'd think Latrobe, with that purple patch they're in now, they play that ground all right, don't they?
Ned's got them playing it well at the right time of the season, though. It's almost like he's done this on purpose. He's let Wynyard race out of the blocks, go storm into flag favouritism, and then when everyone just started to doubt the Demons, Ned said enough was enough, and the boys are starting to right the ship.
I reckon you're right, and he also said that early on in the year they had only 6 premiership players from last year, and now they're sort of back to somewhere like half the team, like 11 I think he said. So Zane Good's come back in, had some real grunt in around the contest, and a few players like that have come back and just really sort of shored them up a bit. So they'll be a big threat for sure. And the last game is obviously Ulverston and Wynyard at Ulverston, and Ulverston coming off a 20-goal loss. Got to back up against Wynyard, which is the toughest assignment in coastal footy, as we know. So yeah, how do you see that one going?
They're not the second best team in the competition anymore. I think we can safely say that after what we saw, or what you saw last weekend over there in Latrobe. But Justin Hayes is going to have to try and pull his men together and get something out of this game, because it won't be a victory. But if they can, I guess hold Wynyard, and I think they only lost by a kick or two.
8 points, I think it was.
This same game, probably about 10 weeks ago. So, but Wynyard will just continue on their merry way, I think. Moving on to the TSL now, Cameron. We've come to a new location, down to the Vault. Smells a bit strange down here, but
a little bit fruity, but
a little bit musky. Moving straight on, obviously, the only game we've got to talk about this weekend is the third instalment of the Coastal Derby. 1-1 at the moment, which is quite interesting, but you could probably see the Dockers getting the ledger at the end of the day. Yeah,
you think it'd be 2-1. I guess with the conditions, you'd probably think the difference in class between the teams might close a little bit, but with the inclusions that Bernie's going to have, Barrett, Laycock, Banham,
Lee,
Andrew Lee. I mean, some massive experience in there. So
I guess my question to that would be then who goes out, because I know they lost 2 weeks ago when they last played against North Launceston, but the weeks prior to that, when those players were out, the fill-ins were filling the void.
Yeah, you're right. Dockers only lost 1 game since May.
Yeah.
And they've been in really good form, and that was against the Bombers, as you said. So their fill-ins have been doing a really good job, but there's going to be some unlucky players. Josh Handley, maybe Sam Newson or someone like that, who are on the fringes. They've been doing a good job, but they might just be unlucky this week, unfortunately, because they can't squeeze them all into the one side.
That's right. Coach Andrew Herring, you spoke to him earlier this week, he spoke about his desires for a top 3 finish, and I guess if they do want a top 3 finish, they probably have to win 3 of their last 4 on the run home.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. Yeah, that's what they're setting themselves to win 3 out of the 4, but it's not going to be easy. I mean, you've got Devonport this week who are no pushovers. Western Storm, Clarence, and then Lonnie to finish off. Who gave him a bit of a run for the money last time. So
yeah,
it's going to be an interesting finish to the season. But obviously, what about Devonport, Jordan? They're out of finals calculations, really.
Yeah.
But they've shown that they can beat some really good teams. I mean, they might even be able to shake things up a little bit and shape the top 5.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They've, like a fortnight ago, they took down Western Storm. I think Storm would have moved to the top of the table if they'd got over who they thought was going to be a pretty easy win. And who else? I think they've also beaten North Launceston on their home deck. So, and on their run home, they do play Burnie, North Launceston and Lauderdale. So they could definitely shape the top 5 and probably maybe do the Dockers a few good things on the way home. If they can upset maybe North Launceston and Lauderdale, that will help. That'll help Burnie squeeze into that 3rd position, because I think 2nd and 1st are out of Burnie's grasp at the moment just because of their slow start to the year.
I think they are, but just getting that top 3 spot is so important because you get that double chance. If you're lucky enough to win a game on the road in 2 versus 3, if you're the 3rd team, then it's such an advantage to them. So that's what they'll really be gunning for.
So what are we tipping this week, Cam? Dockers easily at home to win the Coastal Derbies 2-1 this year?
I think Dockers, yes, but with the conditions, as I said, I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be 3 to 4 goals, around about that sort of mark. What are your thoughts?
I think you underestimate the Dockers, premiership favourites and mine. I think 8 to 10 goals, pretty comfortably for the Dockers.
And Jordan, now it's time for the segment that all the viewers have been waiting for. Good call, bad call. Blatantly ripped off Footy Classified for another week.
This is Coley's baby, isn't it, this one?
Where is he, mate? Where is he?
He's on a day off. He got a little bit tired. He's probably had 5 or 6 footy videos in a row and just need to rest up before the finals.
Yeah.
So get him in good nick for the finals, and no doubt he'll come home with a storm.
No worries. Well, I'll kick it off with the new ball. Wynyard and Latrobe will play off in their 3rd straight NTFL Grand Final this year, Jordan. Good call, bad call?
Yeah, good call, Cameron. Good call. I think last week's result with Latrobe smashing 2nd place to Ulverstone at the moment. And I don't think Ulverstone will lose the mantle as they'll finish 2nd at the end of the year, but with a couple of outs that we know of, the team's not travelling that well. I think Latrobe and Wynyard will clash in the big dance once more. First one to you, Cameron. Clarence, the almighty Roos, will give up top spot on the TSL ladder by season's end. Good call, bad call?
Had to think about this one. Bad call. I think they're just a little bit of a speed hump. There's too much class in that team. Too much pride, I think, to let it slip. I think that they will finish first, they'll rebound, and they'll earn that week off in week 1 of finals. So that's my
that is a big
call.
That's a big call.
They've got a bit of work to do to turn it around. For you, Jordan, the Northwest Coast was unlucky to have no players invited to this year's AFL Draft Combine.
Been stewing on this one for the last 24 hours, Cameron. No, bad call. We had an exceptional year last year with the talents. I think we had 3 from our area, and obviously Ben Brown was from here left, so 4
in total. Yep.
None this year, but the boys are not quite as talented as last year. Look, I think probably Caleb Hislop and Cade Pitchford can consider themselves to be unlucky, but they'll definitely go to the state draft combine, and they can show their wares there and record some good times. That'll be all good, but bad call.
And let's not forget also that Matt Weller's younger brother Lockie, who's also a chance, he's now based in Queensland, but
lived here until he's 15.
Yeah, so we can claim him.
We'll be claiming him this year in October, in November when the draft's on. That's for sure. The Northwest will have Cameron. The Northwest will have less country football leagues next year. I think currently there are 4 country associations.
Tough call. All tough calls this week.
NWFA, Darwin,
Circular Head, and I suppose you throw in King Island, but they'll always play. So
King Island,
I think bad call. I think that there will still be that amount of associations next year.
What about the leaving though, Cameron?
It's just too much history around it though. I just don't think they'll throw it in. They've been struggling with numbers every week this year, and yeah, even some of the other country associations as well. But bad call. I think that we will still see the same amount of leagues next year. Too much pride, too much history, just to let it all go, I think.
No, fair call. Well, thanks for joining us on another edition of the Advocate Footy Wrap. Sorry for all those loyal viewers out there who love to see Brad Cole. I'm sure he'll be back next week.
See you then.